All right, we're gonna go over the 10.1 skill check or 10.1 day one skill check. And we don't have I mean, I just leave the title there, but we obviously don't have a day one or day two with this one. But anyhow, they have information from 2008. And then they want to see basically if there's a difference in the proportion of men and women who are going to support Obama based on this results. Now, it does have it on here that the women are more likely, right? So, but it doesn't say prove that women are more likely. It says, is there a difference? And since it's a confidence interval, then it's all about whether or not zeros in their interval or not when they say difference. Now, if it said, so, do we have evidence that the women support more, then that changes things. All right, so what we're gonna say we want P sub 1 minus P sub 2 with 95% confidence, and I guess I didn't read that part, but 95% confidence interval. And I put P1 as the ladies, all right, in the medium-sized city who intend to vote for Obama. Make sure you get that context. Remember, that's not where we excel, is getting our context and our definitions of our parameters. But on this one, because the women had more supporting voters off of a smaller sample, so the women were more likely. And so I just kept it, I'm going to go women minus men. So a positive number means women more, a negative number means men more. And although on this one, since it's a difference, that's not a big deal. On many problems, it is a big deal. And then if you look, these two it's the same freaking thing, except you just change the women to men. So women, men, that's the only thing. I do know it is kind of a pain to write that out twice, but sometimes when you're writing the second one out, you'll realize you forgot some context and you go back in and get that on the second one. All right, inference method is a two sample Z interval for P1 minus P2. We had two independent random samples. This is an experiment, so the random, we just get to say two independent random samples. We assume that there are more than, I'm gonna switch that, at least, which is awesome because I already scanned this one in, at least. Obviously, I have a deficiency that I cannot get that out of my head. At least 2,400 women and 2,500 men in the medium-sized city. That's not that hard to comprehend. And then success and fails for all of them. All the successes and fails. So the 120 and the 132 they gave us, and then we have to subtract to get those other two numbers. All right? And then on our calculator, I've already pre-typed this in, but here, let's start at the beginning. So I would hit stat test, and this is, remember, it's two prop. For proportions, you use the proportions. I don't write proportions. I don't write the two prop Z int. I write it the inference method. But two prop Z int, and I went ahead and already plugged in the numbers there. Now, I will say this. I did ladies minus men. I need to get the ladies in there first. So it said 120 out of 250, but I put the 120 out of 250 second. Now, if you did men minus women, then these two would be switched around. Again, it doesn't matter which one you pick. It's that you're consistent all the way through the problem. So anyway, I go to hit enter, and there's my confidence interval. Now, if you had done men minus women, your interval would have been from negative 0.1583 to positive 0.0183. I'm going to add this as, guess I will be rescanning this. I got a couple issues I'm not really pleased with. But if you had done men minus women, it's going to be a little bit different. And again, in this case, negative meant more women voted. And on this one, the positive meant more women than men. I'm sorry, I pointed to the wrong number, but that one. All right, and then we are 95% confident that the interval from, and if you did men minus women, your interval will be different. Captures the true population proportion difference, and don't forget to get the word difference in there, and the women and men who intend to vote for Barack Obama. Boy, this is not my best key ever, but I'm glad we're getting this fixed now. Okay, is there evidence to support that women voted for Obama more than men? And on this one, it's no. Now, again, this one, it says there a difference. So the difference is no, there's not evidence of a difference. But this follow-up question kind of changed the game a little bit on us. But it says, is there evidence that women supported more than men did? And again, just say no because zero's in the interval. Or you could say there are both positive and negative numbers and zero. So it's plausible that men voted more. It's plausible that women voted for more, and it's plausible that there's no difference in there whatsoever. And then I just went ahead and tried to put down all that horrible context within that problem. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead on the same video. I'm gonna do this other one as well. All right, so this has the same exact information. I mean, the exact same information. And then because they said, is there a gender difference and it's not equals, we should actually already know the answer. Because 0 was inside this interval, on this one, I will fail to reject. And it's good, and it is there. It's a not equals problem. The 5% and the 95% are hundreds partners. So remember, we can make that connection. That's more for a multiple choice question, but I'm gonna take the opportunity to mention that every time I can. Okay, and again, I did ladies first. Maybe that's just the way my parents raised me, I guess, I don't know. But I did the ladies first. So again, we'll have a little bit different if we did men as p sub 1. And I wanted 2 sample z test this time, not interval for p sub 1 minus p sub 2, or women minus men. 2 independent random samples, good. Assume there are more than, golly Moses, at least 2,400 women and 2,500 men in the medium-sized city. That's nice. And again, these numbers are all the same. Now, you're not always going to get it where you have the same data, but we did want to, they're trying to help make that connection between if it's, we reject, then that number, magic number, which is 0 in this case, will be outside the interval. But excuse me, anyway. And I also got these already written out because I was kind of running out of space, but let's go ahead and plug that in. So I'm going to go stat test. This is a 2 sample, no, it's not. It's a 2 prop Z test, excuse me. And I hit enter. And again, I got my ladies first and then the fellas second. And I'm trying to show that it's not equal, not greater than or less than. And slide down, hit enter, and then there's my Z. And again, it's P value, and you better not write P. I don't know. I would be okay giving you 0 for the whole problem if you put P here instead of P value, but they, I guess that might hurt somebody's feelings, so they don't allow me to do that. But P freaking value, not P. P is something else on this problem, but P value, not P. Anyway, so there's what we get, and then p-value is greater than alpha. We failed to reject the null. There is not evidence of what we're trying to show, that there's a difference in the support for Obama between the men and the women. Or this one, I said gender difference, and I just copied that down here. But what I had said just a second ago would be perfectly fine. And I'll make sure you get it within this city. They didn't give us a city name, so we're just gonna say the city that they're talking about. Okay, and then describe a type 1, type 2 error. So first of all, which one could we have made? Because we failed to reject, we could have made a type 2, where the evidence did not support a difference, when in fact there is a difference. A type 1 would be, we had evidence to suggest there is a difference, when in fact there isn't. Now, I went ahead and came up with some consequences. I don't think they meant for that on this one, because it was just a skill check. I guess I say we typed this up, but I think we actually stole it from something else. But anyhow, so the consequences that I came up with, I don't know. So if we said there's a gender difference, but there isn't, they're going to go after whichever gender they feel is under supporting, and they're going to do something on the campaign trail to try to up those numbers. When in fact they don't need to do that, because it's the same. So there's no reason to target one gender over the other, because there is no difference within the population. So they would work to seem more appealing to the males, and I went with males in this one because males was less. And when there's no reason for him to do it, it'd just be a waste of time and money. So evidence does not suggest a gender difference, when in fact there is. And this one, he'll lose the chance to boost the male population or do something on the campaign trail to try to help increase his appeal to the male population, or whatever gender it is that's different in this case. But again, I would like to point out, we failed to reject, and when we did that same information with the confidence interval, 0 was in the interval. And it's 0 on this one because we were trying to see if there is a difference. Sometimes it's not 0 that we're looking for, but another number. But in a 2 sample, it will always be 0. Anyway, I hope that's helpful. I mean, these are not the most intense questions ever, but they're decent write-ups. And we already had them and we printed them, so there you go.